Blessings. Great to see you again.
Yeah. Sorry about the first one. I literally was caught up at work, so I was not able to jump in.
It's all good. It's all good. It's been, I looked at
Yeah,
the date and it said that the last one we did was in 2021.
it
In,
is.
yeah,
Wow.
so it's been like
Almost
3 years.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a long time. It didn't feel that way.
No, it feels like yesterday,
Yeah.
you know?
I was just feeling life.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I
Yeah.
mean, I trust that, a lot has transpired since then. I love watching your journey. I love
Thank
watching,
you.
your exploration. I love watching your travels. I love watching just like you immersing yourself in you're like a mermaid, you know?
Thank you. Oh my gosh. That's like, I think I have incarnated from a mermaid or something in past life.
Hmm.
I really love the ocean. It gives you that freedom. Like you're flying, but down there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
different when you're in the ocean. It's something. The funny thing about it is that when I understand why people are talking about, or like why people are saying that they crave the ocean, they
Mm,
crave the seas, or to be close to the beach. I think it is because, um, like I understand now how that or what that meant.
mm,
Because whenever you're far from it or whenever you're not near it, you crave
mm,
it. But if you're near it and if you're already in there, you wouldn't look for anything else. You wouldn't look to be anywhere else because you're already at the moment, and then you'll realize how freeing it is to be in there. How um, just satisfying it is to be near the ocean. I don't know why, but it just the breeze, the sound, the view.
mhm,
Not just that, it's just like the feeling of being near, um, seeing the openness
mhm.
of the ocean just makes you not think for anything else but just be in the present, and you
Okay.
want to savor everything. I think that's what it is. Like I never really like I do crave the ocean before when I was a kid. Like whenever we go to the beach, I get so excited. Like everybody else, like every single person that I know, that whenever they are going to the beach or going to the ocean, they would always feel that
Mm.
excitement, that craving, that longing for the ocean. And I haven't really realized the meaning of that until
Wow.
now. That yeah, I have been away from it, and then when I become near it, then I realize, oh, this is it. This is the feeling that everybody is craving for. It's not actually the ocean; it's the feeling that
Feeling.
you feel. Yeah, when
Okay.
you're near it.
Because you said, did you not always have that longing when you were younger, like as a child?
Yeah, because the we are not really near the ocean. It's like 3 kilometers
Hmm.
away, so you have to still travel or you have to still walk to the ocean.
Hmm.
But then there are beaches where it's really beautiful that we have to travel like 3 hours to get there.
Hmm.
So that's why I always long for it, because we don't always go there like when we were kids, and we are near the mountains. So
Okay.
yeah,
So as a
it's
kid, it was still like a
it
luxury,
is. It
okay.
is pretty much like we can only go there when it's vacation or when like there's a special occasion. So like maybe 2 3 times a year.
Hmm.
If yeah. So
Okay. Wow.
mhm.
Wow. So from 2, 3 times out of the year and now to way more frequent,
Yeah,
like, now you're saying you appreciate it differently.
yeah. Whenever I want to, I will. I could go there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. It's just creates like, but traveling itself, in general,
Hmm.
like I have realized now, and I have learned through time, that when you travel, you actually realize or you actually see how good the world is.
Mm. Can
The
you
more
explain?
you travel, the
Mhm.
more you travel, the more you see how many good people there is than bad,
Mm.
and the more good the world is than it is what people say about, or what people say it is actually. Because
Okay.
when you're just confined in these four corners,
Hmm.
when you're always on one spot, you're always in the concrete jungle, you're always not seeing the world, and
Right.
you realize you'll complain about things, you'll you just realize how cruel the world is, how it's trying to confine you, how it's trying to um what is this, like imprison you
Mm.
into this matrix and into this um world where everybody has to work, everybody's going fast, everybody's chasing
Right.
something, you know. Everybody just don't want to settle down because they are aiming for something else, like I don't know, maybe on their corporate jobs, maybe on something else, but they can't really be content of what they have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're just here. This is the only community that they know. This is the only life that they grew up from. They grew up with, and they, you know, everybody thinks that that's the way life is.
Mm-mm.
You have to chase money. You have to chase dreams. You have to chase fake achievement, fake
Mm.
success, just because that's what they think it is. Because they grew in this community where everybody just does the same thing.
Mhm.
But then if you are traveling, it's a different
Mhm.
thing now. Now you get to see different cultures, you see different kinds of people, you see different places, you see different views, you see how big the world is.
Right.
The bigger you see the world, the bigger picture and the higher perspective you have right now,
Mhm.
um, the more you're not bothered with something very simple as, you know, waking up in the morning or
Right.
something. It just gives you a different kind of view.
Right.
It just gives you a higher perspective. Now, just because we were climbing,
Mhm.
and then this is really what I realized, and we had a time to really um, just take in the moment. We are at the top of this peak of this island. There is a small island we just visited.
Mhm.
Then when we were at the peak, and then I was seeing everything in general, like in a higher perspective now, in a bigger picture, in a bird's eye view. I realized, oh my gosh, that little rock right there that I stumbled on, I didn't really matter at all. It's just a part of just one beautiful view, and it wouldn't really matter now.
Mm.
It's just, it wouldn't bother me anymore because it's just a part of a big whole right
Right.
now. So the more you travel, the more the bigger picture that you see,
Mm.
you'll just see how beautiful it is as a whole.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
beautiful. I love this message. You know, so
yeah,
it's like it you know, it broadens your horizons. It raises your perspective because when you're talking about this, Zyra, and I love what you said about, you know, the whole picture. Because there's somebody that told me a while ago, and it stuck with me. They said, you can't see the whole picture when you're stuck inside the frame. That's what they
exactly.
told me, you
Exactly.
know? And it does feel like sometimes when you're stuck in complacency and you don't have that contentment, like you said, that
Yeah.
contentment, you might
Yeah.
be, it might be like a cage for your consciousness, and you can't really like break out of that, especially
Mhm.
when you're latched onto the television, you know, that's telling you a
Yeah.
vision, you know, of what the world
Yes.
is,
Yeah.
right? And it's always broadcasting, and you know, you're channeling that information, and you're kind of being remote controlled, you know, from whatever the sources that be. But you're saying when you travel, when you actually go to these places, you actually see for yourself,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you won't be stuck in something that is gonna be um killing you. I mean, killing your dreams and just kill your freedom and kill that little child in you. Because
Oh.
we always have that childlike wonder. We always talk, like everybody talks about um, the childlike
Hmm.
wonder. But what is it really? Do you live by it? Do you live it? Do you live that kind of life? And not just a childlike wonder is what's keeping you young. It's what's keeping your youth and what's keeping you youthful. If you keep that, you know, if you are amazed by little things, like before, it's so hard to impress me as a person. It's so hard to impress me. But then when I started traveling and I started this, like, just, okay, just don't, just keep in the mind to just appreciate every little thing. That's when you activate that
Yeah.
childlike wonder. Like even a single shell. Look at this
Yeah.
shell. I found this shell just at the porch of our like Airbnb when we were traveling,
Hmm.
and then I just realized how beautiful it is. The geometry of this one. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Look at that.
Spikes, the
Straight.
Fibonacci ratio, golden ratio in it. But then I just realized how beautiful it is. I have to keep it. But then after that, I found something not so similar, but something as beautiful as this is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, every little thing in here is actually beautiful, and I want to keep them. But then I can't because it like, but then, it's like that is the childlike wonder, like just every the rising of the sun when you see it every day, appreciate every color. You know, you always have that power to zoom in. There is a power in that. Zoom in that little picture where you realize and you actually appreciate every single little thing. But then if you are trying to appreciate, or when you are down or feeling a bit lonely or feeling a bit on yourself, you have to actually look back and just zoom out now. And so you can see the whole picture, and now it makes you feel good again because oh my god, yes, it is a part of a whole of a beautiful whole.
Yeah.
So just imagine looking at a painting. You know, I paint, but then when I look at this small portion of a painting, it's like, okay, there are flaws in it, like the color is not blended,
Mm.
there are brush strokes that are out of line. But then if you look at the whole picture, if you look back again and then figure it, oh my gosh, it actually is something like makes it really beautiful because of that imperfection. So when you zoom in, you could see that imperfection, but when you zoom out, oh my gosh, it is actually perfection. So it's like traveling makes you think about that, and then how good people
Yeah.
is. It's also one of the things that made me like is one of the best thing about traveling is that you get to appreciate how great people are, how hospitable, how caring, how just loving people are. I don't know if you get to see a lot of different cultures
Mm.
where everybody's just very embracing. It doesn't matter if you follow that culture or if you want to be with them or you want to be uh I'm trying to get a point here, but you know, I think you get the point. But if not, it does not really matter if you believe the same beliefs that they believe.
Right. Right.
What matters is you respect their beliefs, you respect their you know, you respect them as a
Hmm.
person, you respect their hearts, their passion.
Hmm.
That's what really matters. And don't try to change people when you get into like a different culture, like when you go to different places. Don't change anything there. Just take in every experience that you have in there, or should I say experience,
Mm.
and just, you know, just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Just experience it. Just um yeah, that's it. Just go
Yeah.
with the flow.
Yeah. I like how
Just
you said,
general
I
message.
like how you said that, Zyra, and thank you for that message because when you think of even the word inexperience, like
Yeah.
how does that word feel for you versus the word experience? Why do you enjoy that word inexperience?
I mean, like everything, when you experience something, it's like taking in a lesson. It's like taking in a memory in your life. If you experience, it's just like giving something to the world, giving something that experience from you. But then if it's experience, it's something that's going inside you, that's living within you, so now it's coming in you. So I love that word experience. I don't know who came up with that idea, but experience, enjoy is something that I'm living for. Like that is just, it just changed my, you know, the trajectory of my when you change your words, it also changes the meaning of it. I don't
Absolutely.
know, the frequency of it, it changes
Yeah,
it, and you give meaning to every word. So
I agree.
it, yeah.
You remind me, what would you say is your enjoyment and your experience when you're in the ocean, like when you're
Ah,
in the water,
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
deep down and I see the snorkel and I see the flippers and going and the clownfish, you're down there with Finding Nemo and all of them down there.
Yes.
And I was like looking
Oh,
at it,
yes.
all this, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, because when I, recently I saw on the big screen there was this movie by James Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was called Avatar: The Way of
Avatar.
Water. It was
Yeah.
called The Way of Water, and it
Yeah.
was like this tribe of people from the Water Clan were having
Mm-hmm.
to teach the people from the forest how to like breathe underwater, how to be underwater, how to be free underwater. And
Yeah.
I just love to hear what is your experience when you're down there, you know?
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
asking. That is why everybody wants to be in the water, because of that, not just because of the freedom that you feel. It's like when you're in there, there's no, like, it's just, you know how big it is,
Mm-hmm.
how scary it could
Mm-hmm.
be, but then you are still free. Like whatever movement you do, you just flow with it. Whatever current there is, it's just freeing. How you know that even if there is danger in it, there could be danger in it, but then you're free because um, wherever you want to go, you can. No one will ask you for money.
No.
You don't have to pay for a fare.
Mm-mm.
And then it's just an unlimited,
Yeah.
space for you. It's an unlimited space for you, for freedom, for movement, freedom for whatever you might think in there, inside the water. There are a few reasons why people want to dive or want to explore the ocean. One is because, yeah, the
Yeah.
freedom, the beauty inside, and how your mind would actually change, like your mindset. When you're in the water, you can't really think. Um, there, I mean, you have to think
Mm.
differently because it affects how you would breathe. It affects how much oxygen you would use up.
Mm-hmm.
So if your mind is not concentrated, if you're not relaxed, if you're thinking something else, oh my God, there is danger, there is something in there,
Right.
or oh my gosh, I can't hold my breath anymore, then you are actually using up so much oxygen now that you're gonna lose. I mean, you're gonna be out
Right.
of breath because your mind is just working and working and
Right.
working. So when you're under the ocean, you will learn how to be patient
Mm.
until you get into that bottom where sea creatures are, where beautiful corals are. You get to see freely. If you want to get near something, you could get near into it.
Mm.
Not just the sharks, but then if you want to get near something, you can go. That's the freedom that we like,
Yeah.
because no one's stopping you.
Yeah.
There's no traffic lights. There's
No.
no there's no cars passing by. There's no
Mm.
stoplights. You know, there could be dark, but when the sun is up, then you can still go in there and you can still see the bottom. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
going
Yeah.
back to the mind. Yeah, going back to the mind as well. If you will learn how to control your mind, and that's very powerful. That's one of the most powerful thing that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
If you can practice mind control, I don't know if there's anything impossible that you can
How,
do. Really,
how did you practice that?
your mind. You
Your
just
mind.
think, yeah, you just think of nothing but enjoying it, being free. Don't don't focus on the breath. Focus on what you see. Focus on what you want. You want to go there, you want to go deep down there, you can go there. Don't focus on the breath. Don't
Mm.
focus on, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my oxygen, or I'm gonna be out of breath. Focus on what thing you want to see or you want to go to.
Okay.
If you focus on one thing, maybe some divers even sing a song in their heads so that it would calm them down, or just
Mm.
ease, because the more you go down there, the pressure is going to get
Right.
stronger.
Right.
And that's why it's just hard for you now, because you have to equalize, you have to do all these things. They're just so many things going on in your body that you will feel that emotions, stress, panic, all of those things, you will feel that when you are diving. But then if you control your mind, everything else is controlled.
Okay.
If you know how to control your mind, it will affect how you are in the water.
Okay.
So when you now learn how to relax, to just be in the moment, to just feel it, to just flow with it, now you are even, now you realize, now you can breathe longer because you're not using up the
Right.
oxygen. And also you'll really get where you want to be if you put your mind in
Exactly. Perfect. So you're focused more on your
it.
direction and less
Yes.
on your diaphragm. You're not focused on the diaphragm, you're focused
Yeah.
on your direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are now out of your body. It's an out of your body experience, I might say. Because you're
Okay.
not just, all the tinglings in your body. You won't focus on that anymore. If you want to, for example, you want to see a sea turtle. So we have this experience where the sea turtle, it's a very rare sea turtle. I think you saw it in the story. It's a very rare sea turtle. Like no one could ever see that on a regular basis. But then it's really down there. It's on the corals, just sitting there. But then the corals is just, I don't know how many meters deep, like 30 maybe or more. And I really want to get there because I want to see how. I just want to see the details in it. I want to see how beautiful it is close. Close by, and then so I just dive deeper and deeper, though it's so hard because equalization, like the pressure is just pounding your head down there. But then I really want to see that turtle. I really want to get close to it. And so after how many tries, I did not I attempted so many times to just keep my mind on this subject. And then eventually I really went there and then just hold my breath longer. And then I was just like staring at it and it was just beautiful. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So this is the price of mind control. This is the price of just relaxing and just keeping your mind to it. And then eventually you'll really go there.
What
The more tries
what
you do.
do you feel you've learned from like watching, just being immersed in the ecosystem and
Yeah.
the move, watching the sea turtles, watching the fish, watching all of the life just effortlessly living, just moving, just thriving,
Yeah.
and just, what do you feel like you learned from watching that in front of your eyes?
Perfection. It's just majestic. You'll realize how beautiful life is. And you'll actually realize, oh my gosh, they're just living. They're just on the present. And they want to, if they can eat whenever they want to, they can roam around wherever they want to. So it's an infinite freedom. And I realized how I want to be a part of it. Now I want to be a mermaid. Because here it's just we pay taxes and stuff. We have to work, we have to do this, we have this, all of these material things that doesn't really make us happy. It doesn't really satisfy us. But when you're down there, just forget about all these things. You just like take in the moment and you just, this is what God has given you and this is all you need.
Wow.
Because yeah, you were put in there. That's all you need. I believe that we have been gifted or we have been granted with everything we need already at the present moment. So everything you have is everything you need. That's all you need.
Wow.
If you can't work with that's where unsatisfaction, that's where depression starts. That's where it comes from. That craving or that trying to chase something else when you don't need it.
Right, right. Right. Because can you remember or can you recall a time when you were in that mode of the neediness, or when you did feel like there was something you lacked, or you felt like there was something that you didn't have? Can you recall being in that kind of mind state?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Especially when I was still in college or when I was, around these people who are very low frequency and doesn't really know what they want in life, but just wants to um, collect all these material things because they think that it's going to make them happy. So your environment is a big factor in how you think as well. So if people think that success is by accumulating, I mean, just having or possessing things, that's when you lose life. Because now you're focused on getting money. Now you're focused on getting these things, getting these luxurious items, just because you want to feel seen. You want to feel like you have achieved something, but deep inside you did not achieve anything.
Okay.
It's just material, it's just physical thing. But when you started experiencing something like traveling, seeing, learning a new hobby, learning something that you're passionate about, that's when you actually succeed. That's when you succeed. That is success.
Wow.
Something that you cannot share, but you can only experience. It is a true success for
Yeah.
me. For me, yeah, possession is not a success. It's not success. Possession is not success at all. It
Okay.
doesn't make you successful. It is the knowledge. It is the experience. It is the memories. It is the growth that makes you successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the first moments that you felt like it was like an awakening for you where you said, oh my gosh, like this that I have right here, this is,
Mm.
you know, like this is everything. What
Yeah.
you finally feel like this this is it right here, you know? This
Yeah, when I started to have a
okay,
job, when I got the job, and then suddenly I can afford everything.
okay.
I was a bit happy with that. Like, it got me excited because, oh my gosh, I can do things. I mean, I can have this thing, this thing, this thing. I can buy
Mm,
anything because I have that I have the capability, the financial capability of possessing things. But then when I have all these things, I'm like, now what? Now what? I'm still stuck in my job. I'm still, going to reporting in this boss that I don't know, and then, making people um get more possessions, making people live their lives just because I'm working for them. They're just, the bosses are like going to vacations, they're going anywhere, and you are stuck in that cubicle working for them.
mm,
Yes, you get a salary. I read it somewhere, or I heard it somewhere, that salary is like a drug
mm.
that your boss gives you.
Whoa.
So you get addicted to things. So you'd forget about your dreams and not chase dreams, but actually go on chasing something else. That drug, which is salary, which is money, which is incentives. So you'd continue working for them.
Mm,
So you'd feel that false success. You would feel that false contentment. So you wouldn't stop working.
okay.
And they're here getting that money from the work that you did. And they're just enjoying
Mm,
life. So you are working for others' freedom.
okay. Okay.
Now you
And
forget about your dream. And then that when that time happened where I just can have everything or can have anything, but then still feel like I still feel less than
mm,
myself. I still feel like I'm still missing something in life.
mm,
And then I started this. So back 3 years ago, I was still working in an office,
mm,
and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something because 5 days a week I'm just confined in an office in a cubicle working for somebody else. What if every day after work I go to the beach?
mm,
So you can still make anything from anything.
mhm,
Like, if you feel that longing for something, you can still have time to do it in a day. Like, for a day you have like 9 hours, you have to go to work for 9 hours. After that, you still have like 6 hours before you sleep. You still got six
mhm,
hours What will you do in that 6 hour time frame? How would you get your life going with that? How can you fit your life in there, even if you already like spend your whole day trying to work for someone else? You still got that extra 6 hours or 5 hours. What will you do?
right.
what can you do within those hours? So what I do is that I go to the ocean every after
Okay.
work. I go to the ocean, I dive, I
Yeah.
swim, and now suddenly, oh my gosh, I feel great about my day because yeah, I still get to the ocean. See, I'm not excited about going to work. I don't care what I achieved at work. I only care about after I work, I went to the ocean, and that made me feel good, and
Wow.
that made me feel happy.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter if you're still living in the matrix. You still got, even if you have your one foot in the matrix, you can still have that whole body go to a different dimension.
Wow. Love,
So
I love,
I it's still, you are in control of your life.
yeah.
Everything. You are in control of it. It's just a matter of organization. It's just a matter of planning and just
Hmm.
assigning what you want to do in that specific time frame that you have
Yeah.
been given.
Yeah. So really just valuing your time, valuing the moment, valuing the present,
Mm-hmm.
valuing the gift, like they say today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
A
You know,
present.
we have
Yeah.
it here. It's
Beautiful.
here for us. What are we going to do with it? I like what you posed that question. Like, what are you going to do with the rest of this day? You still have the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the day.
Exactly.
What will you do with your day? And, Zyra, every time I talk to you, you struck me as someone that is like no excuses.
Yeah.
No excuses. You always seem like even when you were talking about going vegan and the people around you who
Mm-hmm.
felt like there was always a reason why they couldn't be vegan or why
Yeah.
they couldn't, try vegan options is, oh, this is too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is that, or this is that. You were always like, there's no excuses.
Yeah. There's really no, like, even if you're just, there's always a way out into
Hmm.
something. Because I have like, it's so beautiful how I just realized that as well. And then I saw one of your reels where you talked about you're actually not in prison. No
Mm.
one is imprisoning you. No one is keeping you in a cage but your own mind.
Mm.
You are the one who made those cuffs. You made that prison
Mhm.
cell within yourself. Like you're the one setting the boundaries. Who would have thought I could learn how to swim? I don't know how to swim. Even when I was a kid, my dad didn't taught me how to swim. He was a good swimmer, but he didn't taught us how to swim.
Okay.
He just want us to discover what we really want, how we would do it. And then eventually when I went to college, that's when I'm like, I really want to get to the ocean. I really want to swim. And then eventually I learned. So everything you can get with just patience, practice, dedication, and
Yeah.
action. That's it.
Hold on.
You can do anything
Hold
with
on.
that.
You said patience, practice, dedication,
Dedication
action.
and
I love.
yeah. And then the fifth one is self-discipline.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes. That's what's gonna keep you on track until you achieve something. And when you achieve that, when you already know how to swim, you just keep doing it
Yeah.
every single day or just do it all the time. You practice. So
Wow.
yeah, and then you just maintain it, and then now that you know it, now that you know how to
Mhm.
do it, then you just enjoy it and just live with it.
Wow.
So
Wow. What's been the importance of discipline in your life where you've seen, like you said, that's the fifth one. You said
yeah,
self-discipline is key. So
discipline.
where have you seen that play the most role or play the most importance in your journey? Because, there's almost like a dichotomy where some people will be of the school of thought that discipline equals freedom. There are people
Wow.
like discipline gives you freedom. So what is your frame of
Oh
thought
yeah,
comes with that word?
gives you freedom. I would say discipline is going to take you further than motivation can.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like you could hear that from anybody, but who is living that? Who is really, what is really, nobody knows. Like everybody can say that,
Mm.
but then nobody knows how hard it actually is.
Right.
Discipline is like the hardest thing that you could ever do.
Mm.
It takes a lot of mind control, it takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of pain because no matter, self-discipline is something that I can compare it to love. Okay, in this context, discipline, no matter what the weather, no matter what happens, you will still do it. That's discipline. And it's like love, no matter how flawed the thing is, no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad a person is, or no matter what flaws they have, you still accept them, you still love them.
Mm.
So discipline is like love. I could compare it to love. It's like doing something just
Mm.
because.
Mm.
Just because. Doesn't have to have a reason. You do it just
Yeah.
because. Love is just like there. It's always been there. You just have to see it. That's where discipline is different from love. Because discipline, you have to have the will to do it. You have to do it. Love is just present. Love is just here. You just have to take it in. Discipline is something that you have to generate from your own self.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you're trying to achieve something, you can't really achieve it by just wanting that thing to happen. You have to really do it. You have to really act on it. But then some people can't stand discipline because they're out of their minds. So discipline comes with mind control as well. I mean, yeah, mind control as well. If you know how to control your mind, you'll have that discipline. But then you
Okay.
don't. If your mind is just somewhere else, your mind is your biggest enemy as well when it
Mm.
comes to discipline. Like, because your mind, you have this like sense of danger, and whenever you try something, and then when you feel pain, when you feel like you're doing something for a very long time anymore and you can't see results, your mind would initially think, or would uh, automatically tell you to
Mm.
give up. it, it's the it's the it's the it's our worst enemy, our own mind. It's also our best friend if
Right.
you learn how to work with it.
Right.
So your brain will initially tell you stop. So that is our like defense mechanism. Like
Mhm.
stop, there's danger, there's so that's fear, because you're driven with fear.
Mm.
And we know that the fear is the opposite of love. It's the opposite frequency of love. So if you have that love inside you, listen to your heart. Listen to what your heart says, not your mind says. So you can dictate that. What does your heart really want? So I want to do this. Now, what will you do to actually do that? If you love something, you would do anything to get there. You
Mm.
would do anything to be with it. You can do anything if you have love inside your heart. So if you're just on your mind, you would definitely just give up to the fear.
Okay. Okay.
You won't
Okay.
even think about achieving something anymore because you're just afraid of things that might come your way
Mm.
while achieving that thing. But if you have that love inside you, you will learn discipline,
Mm.
because now you get to do anything because I need to do this. I want to do this. This is what my heart wants. So I will be there. I will get there. And that's when self-discipline comes in.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for this breakdown. Like, thank you. The way you're so eloquent, the way you illustrate, discipline and your heart and, getting out of the head space and into the heart space
Mhm.
is very difficult for most people to do
It
because,
is.
it requires so much. And it's interesting that you talk about self-discipline because where do you feel like your self-image, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, what started to change with the inclusion of self-discipline, you
Mhm.
know?
First of all, veganism.
Okay.
Like when I went vegan,
Mhm.
you have to have that self-discipline, because otherwise you would have given up to the taste of meat, to that pleasure that you get from food. When you shut down pleasure, that's when you get the real thing. Because everybody gives up just because of fear of losing that pleasure. Pleasure is keeping you from your dreams. When you reach a certain pleasure, you wouldn't want to do anything else because, oh my gosh, this makes me feel good. But if you're just settling on what feels good, eventually it will not.
Oof.
Because just an icing to the cake. It's just an icing to the cake. You're not getting the real thing. You're not getting the cake. You stop in the icing and that's it. You didn't get into what you really worked on. So if you want to bake a cake, you need to work for it. If you want to get the cake, you really need to dive
Woo!
in.
Woo!
But you can't really dive in. Oh my gosh, this morning is very like I'm boosting up
Yeah,
wisdom.
you are
That's
diving.
why
We are diving. We are diving deep right
yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh, like just the way that sometimes it's not even what you say, it's
How you
how you say it. You know,
say.
it's like hitting the way that you're saying it, the way that you communicate it. I feel like the energy frequency coming from conviction. There's a conviction in your voice. There's a conviction in your consciousness that you don't just believe,
Yeah.
you know, like,
You know.
know these things. It's a place of
You
knowing.
know. It's the
And
knowing.
we feel it. I know I'm not the only one who feels it, So like
Yeah.
when you're talking about these things that is so hard for some people to grasp, it really sounds like you've lived it. You've gone through it. You not only do you go through it, you grow through it,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, I love that. You
Yeah,
grew.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for the it's
Yeah.
like man, what you said about diving in and really getting the whole thing, the whole cake, and not just stopping short. You said something that really stuck out, and it kind of there was a switch in my brain that said it, and it was the shutting down of pleasure.
Oh yeah.
You said shut down pleasure. Can you talk about that?
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Definitely. Okay, first of all, in my lifestyle.
Okay.
So everybody wants to have a healthy lifestyle. Everyone wants to be
Mm-hmm.
healthy, but they cannot give up pleasure
Mm.
of the taste and the texture
Mm-hmm.
of meat. They can't they can't give up that pleasure that salt and sugar
Mm-hmm.
gives. So instead of thinking for themselves and being healthy, they would stop somewhere down the line because they're like, I can't give up this. I can't give up this dish. I can't give up meat. I can't give up this.
Mm.
Only because their mind says you'll lose that pleasure if you go down this way. If you're given like two roads now, pleasure or health.
Mm.
And people would always choose pleasure because that's what makes them happy. And then down the line they're like have these 50 diseases afterwards. And now what's good? Is it worth it? No, it's not. So everybody fear to lose that pleasure. Everybody fears that. And when you lose that fear, that's when you actually get to the real thing. So pleasure will not get you anywhere. So pleasure is just it's very short
Okay.
term. And if
Okay.
you achieve that pleasure, and then because it's short term, you're going to lose it eventually,
Right.
then you'll start to crave for more pleasure, more pleasure. So you keep going down the line of pleasure
Mm.
without really achieving something because you're just in this, short term chase.
Right.
So you chase, you get it, you lose it, you chase again. So you're in the
Right.
loop. It's putting you in
Right.
the loop.
Right.
Pleasure is gonna get you in the loop. You're not gonna. It's not linear. It's just a loop of pleasure getting there and then losing it and then getting it and then losing it, getting it, losing it. But
Mm.
when you work for yourself, like when you eat something healthy, now you're extending life. Yeah, now you're extending years of life because you're doing something not for this pleasure right here. It's what we call the delayed gratification.
Okay.
It's like doing something that you don't actually enjoy, so eventually you'll enjoy that life,
Mm-hmm.
that thing that you actually want to enjoy. So you can still enjoy pleasure little by little, but then it's a different kind of pleasure now. It's a long-term joy. It's not just a pleasure.
Right.
So you if you just live in the pleasure, if you just live in the shallow water, you can't really see what's in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you'll fear of you'll fear the pressure. You fear your own mind now. So it's just like
Yeah.
diving now.
Yeah.
When you
You said
go,
all the beauty is
yeah,
beneath.
yeah,
It
you can
lies.
really see it from just afar. Yeah, you see beauty from afar, but then you can't really see how these little creatures are in there. You can't really see that little creature in there that you want to
Yeah.
see. Now, if you dive like 5 meters below, it's already deep, but then now your mind is starting to give you that okay, it's scary now,
Right.
it's yeah, it's so deep. Actually, you need to go up now. It's not pleasurable anymore because you have all this pressure
Right.
dragging you and like beating you in pieces. But then you're like, no, I want to go there still.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do this equalization and stuff, and then you'll be on the way down. You can go there
Right.
if you stick your to it. So pleasure is gonna kill your dreams just because, or it's gonna kill you eventually just because it's just keeping you in the loop and not really, you're not growing from it.
Mm-hmm.
You're stuck in that pleasure. And then, yeah, because when you lose it, you chase it, you lose it, you chase it. But then if you work something for you work for your breath holds, you work for you work your mind out, you work for all those things, you prepare for going down there, then you eventually go down there and then see what you really want to see what you really want to achieve,
Yeah.
because you keep your mind out of these pleasures, you keep your mind out of these fears, and now you can handle anything. You can handle pressure, you can handle fear, you can handle that because you passed by that line, you passed by that level. You're going to the cake now, you're going to the reef now. It's like, it's everything you can just explain in analogy, really,
There's so
but
many
it has,
parallels, you know, there's
yeah,
beautiful parallels
so
because I love how you're talking about, you know, it is a pleasure loop. And I remember being in that pleasure loop as
yeah,
well, that, you know, you're afraid of the pressure. So you stay in the pleasure, you know, you stay in the shallow waters and you don't dive deep because, you know, there's some people that they don't get out of the pleasure loop until it becomes very painful.
yes,
Like
to
until the
stay in there.
pleasure crosses the threshold of pleasure and it goes into pain, it's so much that it has to be traumatic for some people to finally get out
Yeah,
of that pleasure.
yeah.
So for you, would you say that your discipline and all these other things came along, all these virtues came along, did they did you get out of the pleasure loop from pain, or was there a higher something higher that got you out of it? Like which end of
Mhm.
the spectrum did you end up for you to finally turn around, you know?
For I
Okay.
experienced both. So first is really pain. What's gonna get you into self-discipline, or what's gonna get you out of that pleasure loop, is pain.
Mm.
The pain of staying there. The pain of staying there. When the pain of staying stuck or just staying there is more painful than the pain of
Mm.
going out, that's when you think, that's when you actually go out of there, that's when you realize, oh, I really need to stop, I really need to go out, because of that pain of just staying stuck. So I that's what happened when I was obese, before I went vegan, before I went you know, just giving up the pleasure of meat and giving up the pleasure of um good food or something, delicious food, because my parents, you know what happened to my parents, and then, you know, it's so painful for me because I was still like very young, and then I didn't get to really enjoy life because I am now obese, and it's giving you a limit. You're in a limited space now. Yeah, you can enjoy good food, but then can you go up the mountain and climb? Can you go, can you do this, can you do that? It's because something is keeping you from doing the things that you really want, just because of this small pleasure that you think is really good, that it's so hard to give it up. And then when a doctor told me that I could have all these kind of diseases if I don't choose a healthier life, and that stopped me, because I'm like, I don't want to be like my parents, I don't want to experience the way I don't want to live a life that they live, because only because they are stuck in that pleasure still. So that painful thing that happened to me really motivated me first. It motivated me to go down a different way. Now that I'm keeping my mind on my health, I focus my mind on my health now. Then I'm like, this is actually really hard because there's a lot of things now that I cannot eat, and it's so hard because there are no options around
Mm-hmm.
you. That's when you learn resilience. That's when you learn self-discipline, because now you have to make something for your own, so you don't get to go back to the things that ruined you. So you keep on making that road for yourself. You don't, like, if you are in a place where there's no roads, you have to make one for your own. Yeah, don't depend on somebody else's, because if there's pleasure, like, pleasure is just walking the road where everybody, that is paved road already, like everybody is going there, that road. But if you want to try something else, so this is a good analogy now. If you go hiking, and then there's a different, like, different spot there that you want to go because it's really beautiful, but everybody don't want to be there because there's no road to it, there's no way to that spot. And now everybody just keeps on walking this road that is already paved because they know it's easier,
Right.
it's pleasurable, but you want to get to that spot. So now you go out of the line, you go out of the road that is already paved, and then you make your own road. It's gonna be thorny, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be muddy, I don't know what's in there, but then you're making one for your own, and then now you experience the spot that you really want.
Yeah.
You go there, and that's not pleasurable, but then the pleasure after creating that road, now you get, that's the real pleasure, that's the real achievement. Now you get to the spot where you want to be, just because you get out of that other's pleasure, you went to where you want to be. So experience the pain first, experience the suffering first, but it's going to reward you with so much better than pleasure itself.
Wow. Wow. And it sounds like it's longer lasting. It's not just fleeting, like the other
Yeah.
short-term play, walking the road that has already been paved thousands and thousands of times. You know where that leads,
Yeah.
but this road, it might lead elsewhere. So I love how you say when you were focused on health, it was almost like when you were focused on that sea turtle. When you were looking down there, you knew where you wanted to go, but you had to kind of go up and then go back down and then go up and then go back down. You went back and in and out, up and down. And then finally you made it, but you only made it because you were persistent and you became
Yeah.
resilient. It was real,
Yes.
you know? Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So breaking that
Yeah.
cycle, breaking that level. So you have to conquer every fear that you have inside you until you realize and come up to that dedication that, oh, actually I need to be there, and I these are the things. So the more you try doing it, the more you'll be conscious, or the more you are aware of what fears you have, what fears you into doing something. So the more you try doing something, you'll see how much fear you have, what fears you have, and then little by little, when you dig to it, and little by little, you make something to conquer your fear. Little by little, eventually, you're gonna conquer everything, and then that fear that used to scare you is just fear that you just you just look in the eye, face to face, and I'm like, I'm not scared of you anymore.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then you actually went to the deeper you want to go, because now you can look the fear into its eyes
Yeah.
and say to it that I'm not afraid of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What are you compared to my power? What are you compared to my power?
So that's the difference. So it's like
Yeah.
you don't erase your fear, you
You
face your fear.
face your fear. That's why it's called fearless, not fear. What is that? It's not fearless. It's just
Yes.
fearless.
Yes.
It's not the other way around. That's why it's called fearless,
Yeah.
not something like
Yeah.
no fear.
You fear let. Oh, I love this. This
You
has been
fear.
amazing. You know,
Yeah.
this has been. I love the analogies that have come up through this. It's it's timeless wisdom, and I love that it comes from nature, you know, comes from being in nature, comes from that exploration, comes from that experience. Had,
Experience. Yeah.
and you've had all these lessons from life, and
Yeah.
you continue to, and just thank you for sharing them with us, you
Thank
know.
you. I'm really full of that because I've been, when you travel, it's one of the best things as well,
Yeah,
about traveling, because you get to relax your mind and think about things just looking at beautiful views. You don't have to think about work. You don't have to think about something else, but just be in the present.
right.
So, and also one scientific thing is that when you are in the water, you are in direct contact with nature.
Yeah.
You're in direct grounding. It's like grounding. It's like the magnesium
Mm,
chloride that is in the seawater that's going to relax your muscles. That's why this is also a thing, because whenever we get to the water, and that, when you go to the beach, after that you'll feel very heavy, like you feel like you're tired, you feel like you want to
mm,
sleep. Not because you're tired, it is because your muscles are relaxed.
uh,
Now you want to sleep because your muscles are relaxed. It's because of that magnesium chloride that is in the seawater. So it's good for recovery as
yeah,
well. If you're working out something else, if you're lifting, if you're doing climbing and stuff, it's always good to have water therapy. It's always good to swim. It's always good to go to the ocean, because it's gonna heal that parts of you that has been broken emotionally, I think so also. But yeah, it's very healing to be in the water as well.
and it's natural, you
It's
know. It's
natural,
like it
full of
feels
minerals.
like there's something within us that just understands this. Like we internally know, we intuitively we understand that there's so much healing to be had there,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, thank you for illustrating. I didn't even know that about magnesium chloride. Thank you for illustrating.
No worries. I did my research, and then it just made more sense that, oh, that's why.
Hmm.
That's why. But then, yeah, one thing about traveling is that you get more time for yourself to think and to realize things and to just
Yeah,
wonder. So keep that childlike wonder, because it's gonna keep you young forever.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, blessings, blessings, Zyra. You know,
Blessings.
I feel full. I feel like we got a whole cake. You know, we got the whole thing. You didn't
Yes,
give us the icing
yes,
on the
all for you.
cherry on the top. You gave us the whole thing. So blessings, and just I can't wait to see where you go from here, where you grow from here, and just thank you so much. Yeah.
Will be amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity
Yeah.
again. Yeah, it's so good to share what I've learned and what I have
Mhm.
experienced. Though you cannot share experience, you can only share
Right.
stories. But people might get inspired by it and might give them
Yeah.
courage. It's the best form of love. It's giving someone that power to be courageous.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening. You're so receiving and you're so open. I love that.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure. Sure. So till the next
Yeah.
time.
Till the next time. See ya.
Right.
Thank you so.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you everyone for watching. Oh my gosh. Bye bye.